Who's next? Yes, sir.
Is Willem Dafoe as weird in real life?
We're all friends, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, he's really not, you know. He's a normal guy, and you know everybody claims that he's like this weird method actor. You know, only call me by my name. You know, moonwalk out of the room, don't make eye contact. No, I mean I never found that. You know, one of the guys that I was really looking forward to working with was Christopher Walken, and you know when here's the deal. It's kind of like a weird phenomenon to me. Christopher Walken, the first time you meet him, is not even believable as a human. If you first met me and I had that weird cadence and bizarre pauses, you'd go like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And they cast him as lawyers, attorneys, but if I did a panel, you all would think that I'm fucking crazy. You know, but it's so, it's so, I forget whose quote it is, but it's better to be interesting than believable. Fucking Christopher Walken. Yeah. When I first met him, I'm like, dude, stop. You're adding more pauses now just for effect, right? But that's him, man. But if you transcribe everything that he's saying, he's a normal individual. I mean, like when it's lunchtime, I'm like, oh, sweet, man, they got macaroni and cheese. That sounds normal. Only he goes, sweet, man. They've got mac. A run-in cheese. And it just becomes so fucking weird. You're like, I need to hang out with this guy. What's he saying? No idea, but I want more. You know what I mean? So that's one individual. That's why it's an interesting balance of what's weird and what's not. Because his thought process is brilliant. He's a normal guy. It just comes across as very bizarre. Because of the cadence of his speech and these bizarre pauses. I mean, I've spent hours looking at him going, did you forget what you were going to say, so you're searching, and then it comes to you? Or did you strategically place that pause there just for added weirdness, you know? I don't know. Super solid individual, though. Like, one of the most normal cats I've ever met. Like, I know some bizarre cats that sing it straight. You wouldn't think they're weird. Christopher Walken's a really normal guy. Been married for umpteen million years. He loves like ballroom dancing and just so straight. But he comes across as like Tobin Bell times 15 with a weird cadence and bizarre pauses. I mean, can you imagine like him walking into an audition the first time? You're like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But it's so interesting that the first time they cast him, it's a severe character role. And then they realize it's so magnetic. Fuck it, put him in a real role anyway. You know, but realistically, the first time you meet him, you're like, okay, that's unlike any human being ever. He can't play a human. Let him play something else. You know? But he's a normal cat, man. Interesting. I mean, he's that guy. He's interesting. No matter what you cast him in, it's magnetic. He's charismatic. He's that. You just wanna, what the fuck is going on? You know, Dennis Hopper and his scene in True Romance, one of the best scenes in the history of best scenes. You know? That's him. Super good cat. Who's next? Yes?
I wanted to ask you what your favorite Boondock Saints scene was from either the first or the second.
Just whipping the fucking toilet out, didn't it?
I don't know if the ladies will agree with me, but we're all friends here. How many of you ladies love the scene in the jail?
Oh yeah.
That's like an instant orgasm for me.
Praise be to Jesus and to Jimmy Johnson.
I don't know, the faces that you and Norman make is kind of like your orgasm faces, so kind of come together.
Well, it's good to know. I've never seen it. Being a dude, you know, dudes are selfish. You know, women like do this in private. They're like, this is gonna be my orgasm face. A man's like, I don't give a shit. It's about me. I don't care if I look stupid. Women are like, I want to look like this. And I'm gonna perfect my moan. And dudes are like, it's a dying wildebeest. We're like, who gives a shit? Oh, fuck it, I need a sandwich. Chick's like, I'd like some Kool-Aid sprinkled with poppy seeds. The dude's like, whoa! Whoa! to know that that's my face. Never looked at it, never cared.
Watch the scene again.
What's that?
Watch the scene again.
I will do that. Yes, ma'am.
So, yesterday when you were signing autographs and stuff like that, I asked you to think of the most embarrassing story for about Norman Reedus. But not the dropping the note.
Reedus has been one of my best friends for eons and eons and eons, which means I have privy information to everything. I mean, having said that, you know, he doesn't speak as much, but he could not throw me under the bus. He could attach me to one of its tires. And I would go, blum, 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 blum. You know, we've been close for eons, so, I mean, I got some good dirt on that cat. Good dirt.
Has he ever told an embarrassing story about you? Because I noticed in a lot of videos on YouTube, you make him blush so bad he's turning.
You know, Reedus is not as verbose as me. I don't know if you guys have noticed. But you know, I mean, it's like they say, that's what makes people friends. It's like, to me, it's like we complement each other. The holes in my game, he fills, and vice versa. You know, the things that I'm not good at, he's good at, and vice versa. But it's all in good fun. You know, I'll tell you this. Sometimes people go, oh my God, you make fun of Reedus and it's so rude. Let me tell you this, he's one of my dearest friends. I can do that. If I saw somebody else doing it, I would fuck them up. Because he's my buddy, you know what I mean? So it's all in good, beyond good nature, you know what I mean? And he knows it, so. Yes?
What was your first impression of Norman Reedus?
You know, I knew Reedus before Boondock. So, I mean, we met at a party up in the Hollywood Hills. I can't tell you more than that yet. But it was a good party. You know, I mean, he was a cool cat. You know, I mean, we're like-minded individuals. You know, and Hollywood is, you know, Reedus is my friend, and I don't have a surplus of those. You know, so when I met him, he was a friend. He's still a friend, and he'll always be a friend. You know, and those are fleeting in Hollywood. There's not a ton of them, so, you know. Who's next? Yes, sir. Wait a minute, how old are you? Sorry about the profanity. There should be a fucking disclaimer on the door. Sorry, go ahead, brother. Hell yeah! And here's another funny thing. I did this thing called Mongolian Death Worm, and it was like a parody on like B movies, and some people were like, the worms didn't even look real. Like, no shit, Sherlock! The worms look fake. You enjoyed it? It was a funny little flick, right? I enjoyed the hell out of it. You know, the worst part about it, though, is like when you're doing green screen stuff, and they're like, the worm's gonna be over there. So you're like, ah! There's fucking nothing there. And there's always set visits, you know what I mean? So like people that come to set, they won like a radio show or something, and they're looking, they're like, what's he fucking yelling at? Because they don't know, you know, they don't give them a script, they just come to watch, and they're like, they just turned and screamed at the corner of the room and then ran out. It's fucking hysterical, actually. I had lunch with one of those cats, and he did that to me. He's like, so, and it took him like 45 minutes to actually nurture up the gusto to ask me, what were you afraid of? I was like, it's a secret, dude. It's fucking Tobin Bell. He's like a 2-inch Tobin Bell. Mixed with a Walken. Power of 5. Who's next? Yes?
You directed a movie in 2008, I think? No Game, right?
Yeah.
How did you like being behind the camera instead of in front of it?
Say it again?
How did you like being behind the camera instead of in front of it?
I mean, it's cool, you know, it was a web show that I picked up for a friend. A friend was directing this web series, and he said, I can't direct this one, do you want to do it? And I said, absolutely, sure. Directing, there's so many variables that go into directing. In front of the camera and behind the camera are two diametrically opposed crafts and arts. Being technically savvy is not something that most actors are, but I was fortunate enough to spend 6 years doing Young Indy with David Tattersall, and he's a very, very famous director of photography at DP. And he taught me what a key light was, how to load a 535 mag blindfolded. He taught me all of that, what a prime lens is, what a 10-to-1 is, what they do, how you can reshape faces with lenses and depth perception and everything. So it's something that I can say that I have a little bit more technical ability than most actors, so it wasn't that difficult. But having said that, most actors don't even know what the line is, and by your question, I imagine you know what I'm talking about. Most people don't, but you know, I've worked with directors that don't even know that. They're like, okay, so in this scene, you're gonna be looking over here. I'm like, no, I gotta be looking camera right. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. So anyway, when you're looking camera, you're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of shocking. And whenever you understand that, you're kind of blown away that they've gotten that far without like the rudimentary skills of filmmaking. It's kind of a lost art. You know, nowadays somebody can write a script and become a director. You know, that's like, you know, I got a speeding ticket, so I gotta be a judge. You know, you're like, oh wow, fucking nothing to do with one another. You know, so, but that's the industry. You know, as long as you surround yourself with the right people, I guess it doesn't matter. But then it's not your vision. You know what I mean? You're outsourcing the different elements of your vision. My theory. Who's next? Yes.
I'm coming into this a little bit late. I'm not sure if you've answered this yet.
We've already covered that then. I'm kidding.
You know, what's your experience like on this season of Dexter, and can you give us any insight on what's going on there?
We actually did cover that, yeah. It's killer, man. I'll summarize. Flattered to be a part of something that people are going to see, not part of my usual curriculum. I can't say much, but I have a lot of stuff to do with Deborah Morgan.
Woo!
Racehorse. Stinger, beautiful girl. Yes.
Okay, so when you guys were in for Boondock Saints, when you were in the detective's office and you were rattling off the different languages,
Yep.
how long did that take you guys to learn?
5 minutos. For Norman Reedus, eternity. Not a hat rack. Hat rack. But I'll tell you, man, Reedus, like I said, there's things that some people are good at and some things that people aren't good at. Reedus is not good at phonetically memorizing things that he doesn't know, you know, the meaning. And what you need to understand, like whenever you learn lines, you don't learn the words in order. You learn the idea, and then you just spit out the idea. And innately, it comes out the way the words were scripted. But whenever you don't know the language, it's like trying to memorize honk, wigga, baga, baga, ching, tang, ding, ding, bang, you know, all those sounds. So you're like, did the come after the ding, ding? It's literally like that. So if you looked around the room, Reedus had fucking cue cards on like poster boards, like high school poster boards, everywhere. So Reedus is like, nee, alla porta morten. No shit, they cut that shit together so it looked believable. Motherfucker was like, can you hold that one up? What's that one in the back say? It's the truth, oh man, it's the truth. We had a ball shooting that, man, because fucking Reedus didn't know shit. And, you know, speaking of which, you asked me earlier, Willem Dafoe, he was in the back fucking with Reedus so hard.